Hi, this is Steve Gower again. In this video, I'll give a quick demonstration of the BuilderWorld scripting system, and we'll use it to build a contraption. The BuilderWorld scripting system allows users to easily create highly interactive VR worlds. There are over 80 scripts to choose from, and I'll be demonstrating how some of these work. Multiple scripts can be attached to objects to provide a wide range of behaviors. When any script is activated, it can send a play command to other scripts on other objects. So the scripts can be executed in a sequence, which is somewhat similar to how the pulses of signals make their way through Rec Room chips and gizmos. Okay, so I'm going to start by making a button. BuilderWorld has many ready-to-use buttons, but it's easy enough to make our own, so let's do that. So I'm going to start with a cube. I'm going to add a gray cylinder on top, like so. And then the top of the button will also be a cylinder that will make red. So I'll line that up and resize. Okay, so there we have a button. I'm going to link some of these objects up together. Okay, so that looks good. And so now we need to make the button work as a button. And so when we press the button, we want it to depress and then move back up. And so to do that, I'm going to add a script. And so I'm going to select the top of this button. And then you see I'm going to add on the scripting's screen a move object script. Okay, so this move object script, it will be activated when touched by controller, and the time to move will be 2/8 of a second, so a quarter second. The axis will be up, and we'll set the distance to -5, and the movement style will be forward then back once. Okay, so let's try it out. I'll play the scene. Okay, yeah, so it's sort of working. When I move the controller, it's activating the button, but you see the button is being activated too frequently when I hold the controller inside it. And so that's an easy thing to fix. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a switch to this button. And a switch script is just a script that calls other scripts. And so the switch script will be activated when touched by controller. And I'm going to send a play command to this object. And so when the switch script runs, it'll send a play command to the move object script, which is on this object. And I'll show you how that works. And so hide when played, I'll set to no. And delay before reactivation, this allows us to limit how often the button can be activated. And so I'll set that to 4/8 of a second, so half a second. I'll give it a click sound, and I believe everything else here is okay. So I will add that. Okay, so now I need to go back to that move script and change the activation. So instead of being when touched by controller, I'll change that to when play command received. So the switch script will send the play command to the move script, and then it will run. Okay, so now we can try that out. Play the scene again. Okay, so the button is working a little better. It's not being activated too frequently. It's making a nice click sound. So so far so good. So now let's make the button do something. How about play a sound? So we'll go to sounds, and there's thousands of built-in sound effects you can use, but let's play a bell. And so, okay, that's a nice bell sound. So I'm going to drop the bell sound into the scene, and when I highlight that bell sound, or when I select it, you can see that it has a sound effect script already attached to it. So I can edit that script, and instead of playing the sound when scene is played, I want to play the sound when play command is received. And I believe all these other settings are okay, so I'll save that. And so now what I want to do is, when the move script is activated, I want to send a play command to this sound effect object. And I'm going to use the link tool for that. So I'm going to link that button to the sound effect, and you can see the link is established. So after we add that link, I can edit that move script again. So when it's activated, it's going to send a play command to parent linked objects. Okay, so move script will run. It'll send a play command to one of its parent linked objects, and I link this sound effect object as a parent, and so that should play the sound effect. So let's save and close and try it out. Okay, so now every time I hit the button, it moves, it clicks, and it plays the sound. Okay, very good. So let's keep going here. I want to add a motor. And so we're going to run this motor when we hit the button. So I'm going to drop a motor in the scene, and I'm going to connect it to the button like so. So I can line this up to the center of the motor and resize it, and then move the button here. So I'm going to connect the motor to the cylinder and the cylinder to the button. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm also going to link the top of this button, which has the move script, to the motor. Okay, now when I select the motor, you can see it has a motor script attached to it automatically by default. So I can edit that script, and I want to activate the motor also when play command is received. The target velocity looks okay. I believe there's quite a lot you can configure here to get different behaviors, but by default we'll have a motor to run at target velocity. This looks okay, so I'm going to save the change. Okay, so now hey, one thing I want to do is let's attach something to the motor to make it a little more interesting. So I'm going to go, I have a object that I saved here that has a few spheres connected with ball joints, and so it has some lights on it. So I'm going to make let's put 3 copies of this guy in the scene. And I'm going to link these guys to the motor. So when the motor spins, these guys should also spin around. So I believe this is all set, so let's give it a try. So I'll press the button, and the bell rings, and now we have these ball sphere objects spinning around. Okay, so what else can we do? Let's make it a handheld object. So I'm going to go to Specialized, and I'm going to grab a handle here, and with a handle I can attach the base of this button to the handle, and then when I play the scene, that will allow me to pick this object up. And so I can click the button, activate the motor, and have this in my hand like so. Okay, what else can we do? Let's control the speed of that motor with a throttle control. So I'll go back to the specialized objects, and here I'll select a throttle, and I can add this throttle to the scene and link it to the base of the button. And now I'm going to link this throttle object also to the motor. Okay, and so when I do that, you can see the throttle, and I select the throttle. I can edit the throttle script that's attached to it. And because it's linked to the motor, it exposes some of the properties of the motor that can be controlled. So I'm going to select target velocity here. Okay, there we go. And so I'm going to set initial position to middle and spring to initial position yes. I think is what we want. So I'm going to save the change here and now play the scene again. Okay, so now I can turn the motor on with the bell, and now I should be able to control the speed and the direction of the motor depending on the position of the throttle. So once I've made an object that I like and I want to save, I can go to Edit Scene, and I can select that object and save it, give it a name. I'll just call it handle object, and I'll just give it a tag of abstract, and then I can take a screenshot Okay, so my object has been saved. Once I save an object, it then is available in My Objects. So I can go to My Objects and then All, and you see my handle object is now one of the choices here. So I can select that handle object and grab another one and add that to the scene. So anyway, that's just one more thing you can do. So anyway, I think this demonstrates how some of those scripts work and how you can connect objects together to fairly quickly and easily make some interesting devices. And this thing we created here is just one of a trillion different possibilities. You can combine these scripts and objects in all sorts of different ways and create some pretty fun things. So anyway, I wanted to give you a quick demonstration. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.